Welcome to Help to Love Mindful Hacks, your trusted, curated source for self-mastery and self-improvement tips to help you become happier and more productive in your truth, to actually become your higher version of self. Here is your host and happiness and productivity specialist, E.L. Brooks.
The Door to Possibility. We know Nelson Mandela as a hero and one of the great world leaders, but if you really knew his backstory, you probably wouldn't believe his legacy was possible. The man who was initially arrested and sentenced to life for conspiring to overthrow the state went on to spend 27 years in prison, then would ultimately be released by the leader of the state to help negotiate and put an end to apartheid, which he successfully pulled off. Shortly after his release, he would go on to become the first president of the reformed state 4 years later. But what if I told you he initially thought he was never going to get out of jail? So how did he face this seemingly impossible task? Well, I'll tell you. It's the door to possibility. And that door exists for all of us when we choose to walk to it and through it. For Nelson, he started thinking, what if I can get out? How would that look? So he started writing letters and getting his mind and focused around that. So he said, I'll start bringing attention to what's really going on here. So he started writing about the problems in South Africa. He started getting attention, lots of attention, and simultaneously he started thinking, who should lead this nation should we be successful in overthrowing the current government? Who's going to run it? What if I can do it? So then he started believing and focusing on that. Two seemingly impossible tasks that I'm sure if he shared with his fellow inmates, they probably would have laughed him out of jail. So why am I telling you this? Because a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking over and over until it becomes hardwired into your brain. The belief that things are possible via the door to possibility. We're all faced with great challenges that sometimes seem like impossible situations, but that's one side of the perspective. There's always another perspective. There's always possibility in the quantum world. Your personality creates your personal reality, and your personality is made up of how you think, feel, act, behave, and this becomes your life. There's only 3 choices in life in almost every scenario. 1 is give up, 2 is give in, and 3 is give it all you got. These choices are based on your character and your personality. So if we want to change something in our personal life, we need to change our personality. Nothing changes until you change. So it's stillness. Some say meditation, which just means to become familiar with our thoughts. This is the first stage of self-mastery, which is awareness. So how do we develop a character whose only choice in every scenario that seems impossible is to give it all you got? How do we develop an unshakable personality that is resilient in the face of adversity? Well, it's through intentions, through awareness. Awareness is corrective, and inhibitions over time breaks conditioning. When you start to think with intentions, then you start to fire new neurons and install new hardware. You keep practicing this, that hardware becomes software, and over time, that becomes your auto-programming. This now becomes a new voice in your head that says, anything is possible. This allows your actions to be equal to your intentions because the brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and the 3D world. You have to teach your body to feel it before it happens. So if you cultivate that feeling, it will begin to become familiar to you. Keep reviewing your actions, what's serving you and what's not. So the biological change is unlearning and relearning. It's disconfirming and unmemorizing emotions that have been stored in the body and then reconditioning the new mind and new body to an emotional state. So the takeaway is, the door to possibility is always available. It's always a viable option. We have to believe. Some of us have to personally transform in order to start to believe. We must remember that personal transformation and sustainable change is in the body's health, where old patterns remain in the old body and the old mindset. But once we change those old patterns and thoughts, they no longer follow you to the new mind and the new body. And now you can walk to and through the door to possibility in every scenario that you're inspired by. One love. If you liked this video and found it helpful, please share it and make sure you subscribe to the Help to Love channels. Join our Facebook community and remember, accept what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be. And most importantly, stay blessed, not stressed. Hashtag 500 to happiness. Hashtag 1 of 1. And remember, honor your gift and your uniqueness. One love.